The new characters from the DLC are amongst the most fun and strongest ones, but they're quite complex to understand, and the game doesn't explain many things. In this video, I'll explain exactly how they work, what you should focus on, what relics to look out for, and their hidden secrets. The easier of the two, and probably the stronger one, is Undertaker, who I think might be the single strongest character in Trios. She has a very high faith, but more importantly, she has as high strength as Wilder. Her dexterity is unfortunately too low, so I definitely recommend using the stat shifting relic that boosts it. Even if not by that much, it really increases the damage of all melee weapons. You can unlock it in the collector signboard after beating the Dreadlord. Her health is 4th highest, which is good enough already, but her skill boosts the survivability even further with extra damage negation on use. When it comes to her skills, the passive and ultimate are simple. Ultimate is a precise long-ranged attack that is the highest damaging ultimate out of all uncharged ones, but it doesn't do as much stance damage as some of the others. Secret of this ultimate is that it can hit more lined up enemies if you lock on the farther one. This is not a good ultimate to revive your teammates with. Her passive lets you use her ultimate for free under 2 conditions: when an ally uses an ultimate, or when you dodge a grab attack closely. Considering how much that allows her to use the ultimate, I think this is a must-use relic that you see on the screen right now. At least in Trios, this makes it so you nearly always have a 15% damage buff. Now the character skill. This one is a bit tricky. It does lots of things for 8 seconds. You should focus on the first 2 effects to decide when to use it. Firstly, it gives you back all your stamina, so you should use it when you don't have much of it. And secondly, it increases your damage, so you should always have it on before using her ultimate. Other effects include increased poise, defense, dodges, running speed, and running doesn't consume stamina. And also, you can gain extra damage boost after number of hits, depending on the weapon type, for the rest of the ability duration. What's important is that you can use this skill at literally any moment, even without the animation. This skill, however, also has a stronger version that uses your whole ultimate charge. It does pretty much the same things, but better, lasts nearly twice as long, the damage increases higher, and most importantly, you get an auto dodge. I'll be honest, the only time I use it is there when I accidentally click the buttons, because using the whole ultimate bar on it is only worth it if you're the last man standing and trying to revive your teammates. Out of her relics, except for the ones I've already talked about, it has 2 relics I'd never bother using, and 2 niche ones, though useful if you remember to use them. When it comes to Scholar, he's a more niche character, but nevertheless can be very powerful. Before I continue though, while Undertaker is also much more powerful in teams, the Scholar pretty much requires a team to be viable. Not because he's not strong enough on his own, but because he just needs time to scan the enemies, and because of his dodge. He has a Bloodborne dodge, having 11 iframes, also same as Dark Souls 1 light roll. For the reference, light rolls in Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3 have 13, same as most characters in this game except for Guardian, who has 10, but his passive makes up for it. Scholar, however, requires his teammates as human shields, even though he has a secret parry I'll tell you about later. When we talk about dodging, Scholar can actually turn his rapier attacks into an iframe backstep, so you don't have to worry whether you have time to attack. But here's the most important thing about him. His stats are horrible. Literally no damaging stat that is good. Luckily, there's a way to fix it. By buying the stat-changing relic after beating the Dreadlord, it gives him extra 40 dexterity on level 15, giving him a total of 58. More than Iron Eye, and just slightly less than the Executor, while still having higher Arcane. So I definitely use it. Now, about his abilities. They're not as hard to understand as to actually play him. The passive gives him ability to carry twice as many items in one slot and level them up upon use, giving them secondary effects on level 3, like temporarily getting extra HP upon use of Boiled Crab, or lowering enemies' damage upon using the throwing knives. For that reason, you should always use Items Confer to Nearby Allies relic. Note that you have to actually hit the enemy with some of the consumables in order for them to level up. His ultimate is an AoE effect that links all nearby enemies and allies, which means upon damaging one enemy, other ones will also take some of that damage, and any healing effects are shared between linked team members, including an additional healing upon hitting a linked enemy. Note that the range of the ultimate is still limited. His character skill just debuffs enemies or buffs yourself. The strength of effects have 3 levels, depending on how much the bar is filled. First 2 levels either debuff enemies' attack power or increase your stamina, and third either makes enemies take extra damage on the next hit received, or gives you a shield that releases a shockwave when hit. That doesn't last long, so it's basically a parry with which you can parry literally anything. The speed of analyzing an enemy will depend on the distance between you and the target and how much times you've scanned them. Out of his relics, except for the ones I've already talked about, I recommend using the one that boosts his allies, since that's his job, support. Others are pretty useless, to be honest. The one that gives him runes is not so bad, but so many other good relics exist that I'd put in its place. So that was my guide for these characters. If you found it useful and you'd like to see more content like this, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And thanks for watching.